Good morning and welcome to the announcements. And I haven't done one in a while, so I've forgotten how I usually start these. So I'm here with Rachel, Dr. Tarrasch, which I typically say wrong. So I apologize in advance for that. So she's gonna do the announcements with me. I haven't done one in a while, and so we're a little out of practice. So let's start off with just a little bit about who you are and what you do for a living.
Right, well, this is my fourth year. I'm at Holland Elementary School.
Holland Elementary in a large school district in Missouri.
Yep, SPS.
SPS.
I grew up here in Springfield and then left and went to New York for about 10 years.
And you came back?
I know, my parents
So,
did.
what, you grew up here, so did you go to school here in Springfield?
I did.
Where did you go to school at?
I went to elementary school at Sequioto.
Okay.
Then
yeah.
I went to Hickory Hills Middle School.
Yeah.
And then I went to Glendale.
You're a Falcon. Yeah. My son is a Kickapoo Chief.
Oh.
They're like rivals, right?
Yeah.
They're crosstown rivals. Yeah.
I know, my stepdaughter, she's a Central Bulldog, so.
Yeah. Well, my daughter is going to Reed. I think she wants to go to Hillcrest. So that's a little Springfield background for you.
We've got a lot of schools here.
Yeah. Okay. So and you came back from New York.
Well, I started my teaching career in New York. I did an alternative teaching certification, so I worked at a high-need school, started in special education in the Bronx.
The Bronx.
In the Bronx, New York.
It sounds cool when you say something like that.
It was.
Yeah.
And then I spent a year teaching abroad, teaching English in Argentina. So I did that for a year. And then I went back to New York briefly, and I taught at a charter school. And then I realized I'd been gallivanting around and having a grand old time and wanted to be closer to my family, so I came here to be closer to my family.
So you're kind of an adventurous person.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how many times I've been to New York City? Exactly 0. Now my wife has been. She went once for a conference, but I have been 0 times. So yeah, and you know how many times I've been to Argentina?
12.
Good guess. Nope, 0.
Okay.
Yeah, I am not an adventurous person, I guess. So, teaching English in Argentina. Tell me about that. How was that? That sounds interesting.
It was really fun. Actually, I went there and I did like a teaching abroad, or a TEFL teaching English as a foreign language class. And that's how I kind of got connected with some organizations and institutions, so then they would help find me jobs. And I mostly taught with other companies who they wanted their employees to speak English, speak about stuff.
Yeah.
So international
So it was
language.
mostly adult education?
It was mostly adult education. I did a few private lessons, and then I did work at one English institute for kids, and it was really challenging because the kids did not want to learn English. And so although I am
I'll
a
be
kid
honest,
advocate,
I didn't want to learn English.
That was the hardest job is kids who just do not want to do it.
Yeah.
So
That sounds familiar to today's students. They don't want to learn.
it was a trip.
You go and learn.
You go and learn.
You go and learn.
You're gonna have fun.
Hey, so one of the things I do here is joke of the day, and also you should know that I have a little script I follow, and I give it to the people, and sometimes they fill out stuff, and sometimes I fill out stuff, but Rachel filled out a lot of the stuff, and so this joke may sound vaguely familiar to a joke I've told, but it's hers, and so I'm going to let her tell the joke.
Okay. What did the Papa Tomato say to the baby tomato?
I don't know, what?
Ketchup! You gotta stop too.
Do you do jokes for your kids here at school? Because I think they would like that.
They would. I
They would get that
used
one.
to,
Yeah.
but I have learned that sometimes jokes. I also at my school we house our district's deaf and hard of hearing program,
Right.
and some of the jokes don't translate super well, and it can be a bit confusing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't always do jokes
Yeah.
anymore because I don't want it to be
Weird.
leaving anybody out.
Right. Gotcha. Well, I'm all about leaving people out.
Well, but I do have a new job that I want to have some of our kids doing where they're providing jokes.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Always looking for jobs for kids to do.
Yep.
So I also have a section about weird facts, and normally I put something out there like something weird in the world, like I don't know. But Dr. Rachel put a weird fact about herself, and she's going to tell us about it and then demonstrate it for us.
Yeah. So I have double jointed fingers, and I can.
So let's see the double jointed fingers
Oh,
first.
see, I can.
Okay,
So I can point at you this way.
I can't do that. Okay,
Okay.
that's weird.
It's weird.
But what it gets weirder.
Or I mean, cooler. I can stick a dime in my knuckle. And it
She's
just
balancing a dime
It just sits there.
on her knuckle
sits in my
on
joint.
its side, like.
Pretty
That's-
amazing.
I mean-
pretty weird.
Yeah, I mean, if being a principal was enough of a skill, you have a fallback that could carry you through the rest of your life.
Yeah. I actually spent time trying to put coins in my knuckles at one
Yeah,
point, so
yeah.
that's how I learned I could do it.
I like to put it in my pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the part of the show where my computer screen goes dark. So Mount Rushmore. I always ask people who is there on their Mount Rushmore, and Mount Rushmore is your 4 famous people, right? The real Mount Rushmore has 4 famous presidents on it, and so I'm asking you on your Mount Rushmore, 4 people, and sometimes people do more than one. An edu-hero, a colleague, a mentor, and a non-educator. And go. Who's your edu-hero?
I put Ken Williams and Mark Rutherford, 2 people. One is I've been fortunate to see Ken Williams twice in this last year, which has been
Mike Rutherford.
Yes.
Yes.
But Ken is amazing. He talks about being junkyard dogs and being brave enough to do what's best for kids.
He was at conference this last
Was at
year,
conference.
and
He's electric.
He was. He brings it when he
And
comes.
he was actually tamed down from the SAMS conference.
I
the
heard.
SAMS conference was
He was a little
like
off,
the hairs
off
were
the chain.
standing up
He was-
on my neck.
He was off the chain at Sam's, but he brought it down for MAESP and did a great job. And he is a great. We're going to tag him in this. We'll put it on the Twitter, the X, and tag him in it. So, and then your next one.
I love Rutherford because he provides. I was actually fortunate to see him a few years ago at Sam's pre-conference, but talking a little bit about when people do great things, you have to have a name for it. And if you don't have the common language, then it's just that thing you do. So I love that concept of really naming what it is that you're doing, so that if you can put a name to it, then the teachers know what they're doing, and then they can keep doing that thing.
It just makes it. You own it.
Yeah.
Put a name to it.
And
right?
the coaching, some of the coaching feedback, really easy, tangible ways to improve my feedback to instructors.
Mike Rutherford is fantastic. We use him with our Missouri Leadership Development System, and he has 23 themes of teacher moves that you would use in your classroom. Some of those are just a technical thing that teachers should do every time. Some of them are scientifically based. Some of them are just art, right? Because teachers, they have an artistry when it comes to teaching.
That finesse piece
Right.
of it,
So Edu Heroes, Ken Williams and Mike Rutherford, and now one colleague.
So I had a hard time with this because I have so many great colleagues.
There's a
but
lot of great people in the
last year, or I guess for 2 years, I had the opportunity. We had a learning coach who was part of our district, and she came a couple times a week. So Christy Heinrichs she came, and she's just an educational genius. She can do data. She has understanding of cooperative learning skills. She's brilliant and kind and thoughtful and intentional, and just really helps hone my own craft as an educator. So she was somebody that I just really, really appreciated and learned as I was learning the principal job. I'd say she did a lot to really support me.
She's like an iron sharpens iron, right? So you are a good educator person. She's a good education person. You guys bring that together. It's just magic.
Yeah, it was pretty wonderful.
Now
so.
is I may have this wrong. She's leaving the district to go to Aurora, right? To Pate. So I know things.
You do know things.
I do know things. So good luck.
She is. Her district is in for a treat. So.
Are you Facebook friends with her?
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to tag her. So
Yeah,
Christy Heinrichs, congratulations on moving to Aurora.
Absolutely.
So one mentor.
So I was thinking a little bit about just a mentor that I think as an adult, it's hard to find another adult that is a mentor. So I've been practicing yoga on and off for years, and so many times I'll be in a yoga class and the instructor will say something and I can let it float off my brain, it doesn't really matter, but when I really think about the messages, I'm like, wow, that's great. And what I love about yoga, which I think is like education, if you can do it the first time, that there's no learning to it. It's just, it's a continual craft and a practice.
Yeah.
And so you have to keep practicing all the time to get better and better and better. Yeah. And I just love that just constant reminder to be in the moment, to be present, to breathe. And I try to kind of bring that back into my own Zen life.
I love the idea of yoga, but my body does not.
Yeah, it would.
I don't. I have. You know, I consider myself a flexible person, but not physically. Physically, I'm mentally flexible, but physically, no, not working for me. So I'll have to get some poses from you and try it. So all right.
Start with kids yoga.
Kids yoga. All right, one non-educator.
Well, I couldn't choose. I put my mom and my dad, my people, my team Mingo is what we call each other, and we just. That's why I came back to Springfield, and I'm thankful I have great parents, and I just love being with both of them, and separately and together, and
Mom and Dad, people. You raised a good one. Good job. All right, what's the weirdest thing that's happened to you as a principal?
Well, I was just thinking, I mean, the whole job is weird. And I think a lot about when someone says, how was your day? And you say, oh, it was good, it was bad.
They don't even know.
It's just this constant, it's like, it was a good moment, it was a bad moment. It was a good moment, it was a bad moment. It's just this constant cycle, up and down and up and down. And so just, a few days ago, I was kind of riding this high and low with students, and then I had a staff member tell me that we've really come together and we've really evolved, and I was feeling so high and like, yay, yay. And then I was told, oh, you're just doing everything wrong, and you're messing it all up. And I was like, oh, I'm back down again. So it was just that kind of moment of up and down and up and down. And it's not the weirdest thing, but it's a common everyday thing.
It is kind of a weird thing that at any given point, you are either someone's hero or someone's villain, right? And it can change just like that. Because people are fickle about things. So,
well, if you're making everyone happy, you're probably doing it wrong. So,
yeah, probably. I mean, I know there's lots of people that still don't like me. So, all right, quote of the day. So, our topic we were going to talk about is improving from within, because I stole that out of Joe Sanfilippo's book, Crafting Culture. It's a good book. Joe and Jeffrey Zuhl. I always forget to name Jeffrey Zuhl. But Joe Sanfilippo and Jeffrey have this book, Crafting Culture, and it has 45 reflections, and one of them is improving from within. And so my quote of the day, and I actually have two of them. One is, in any given moment, we have two options: to step forward into growth or backward into safety. And that is from Abraham Maslow. He was a behaviorist, something along those lines. You had to read them when you went to college. I know that.
The pyramid.
Right. So in any given moment, we have two options: step forward into growth or backward into safety. And I just thought, that is so true. I mean, you decide. You are the one who decides how you're going to, when someone tells you you're the worst principal ever, you're going to decide how you're going to take that. Do you brush that off? Do you use it and grow from it? What do you make it? You let it make it feel sad? So. And then the second one, I thought these kind of were good together. If I change me, I change everything around me. And that's from Brian Mendler. And Brian was a speaker at our conference a few years back, and really good. He's one who talks about power struggles and how teachers let themselves get stuck into power struggles, and why, and if I change me, I change everything around me. So those are my two quotes that I chose. So, but we're going to talk about improving from within. And I have some notes, you have some notes. We're just going to start talking a little bit. I always like to do, what does it look like, and how can I do it? So, as a growth piece for anybody who wants to watch these, aside from the entertainment value, maybe you might grow from it, or something. So what is it? Improving from within. This could mean a lot could have meant a lot of different things. I mean, when I first heard it, you suggest doing this topic, I'm like, gosh, because I hadn't read it yet, right? So I'm like, okay, so we're wanting to talk about growth and getting better at things, but in the book, San Filippo and Zool, they talk about how it means that schools, it's a school where staff support and learn from each other, and so I thought that was interesting. So, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I was really kind of wrestling with this concept because I was sort of inundated with lots of thoughts. But one of the things I was thinking about with this book, and it was talking about from improving the building from within, was a shift that we recently made. It was an experiment. So we have done, like many schools, I think, the learning walks where we all get together, we walk from classroom to classroom, and we walk. We shifted and...
Wait, back up a step. So learning walk, you're just walking.
Just walking.
And you go into a classroom, and so what does it look like when you're in the classroom? Or do you just go in and like you're taking notes? Are you scripting things?
Sure.
Are you, what is that?
So we have done it a couple different ways, but we typically were looking primarily for one of our focuses of the year.
All right, so you have a look for.
Yeah, so we had to look for it. It was either a behavior, like how our students engaged and what are some classroom management strategies, or it was based off of one of our learning targets, like are learning objectives visible? Are you noticing them and really focusing on some of our basic elements of effective teaching and just focusing on great teaching, so that it was, and they're non-evaluative, and it was led by the teachers, and I actually didn't go on these with them, so that they were just teacher led.
Teachers learning from other teachers.
Yeah.
I wrote down that a lot of times when we have problems or challenges in schools, or we have a focus, the answers are in the room, right? So people who are at your school, somebody knows how to do this and is doing it well. We just got to figure out how to get other teachers to get in and see this person and learn from them. So in the book, this is how schools with pockets of excellence move to become schools with networks of excellence, and ultimately to become schools with a culture of excellence. And so you are trying to transform your school from just having some people here and there doing something good to everyone coming together and learning, and everyone being able to do something good and having a culture of learning from each other. So building a strong culture of adult learning is hard. How do you do that?
Yeah, a couple ways. So one of the things, so we used to do the learning walk. We shifted this time to do a walk to learn. And the walk to learn is based off the work from John Antonetti. And so in this, what we were doing is we weren't focusing on teachers at all. We were focusing on student work and the rigor of student work. And so when we went in and teachers knew that we would be coming, but we would ask students, what are you learning? What are you doing? We were observing, and we did have a little observation guide, and we had planned so everybody knew this would be happening. And then we'd spend 5-6 minutes in a classroom. We'd come out of the classroom, and then we would have a conversation right then and there. What did we notice? What did we see? And then we'd add a +1. So we saw this great practice in the room, and even though it was awesome, what could we do that might be different? Or what would it be supportive? That's what this teacher did, but how could you use it in your classroom? So if the 5th grade went to a first grade classroom, they could still take something from it. How could you shift? And so that was really amazing, because teachers want feedback. They wanted to know how they're doing better. Like, this isn't actually about you this time. This is what are the kids doing? And one thing we learned from this experience was when we went into several classrooms, the first time we went in, we asked the kid, what are you doing? And they were kind of looking around, like, what are all these adults? Why are you here?
Why are you asking me this?
The second or third time we came in, they're like, okay, I'm ready for you. I can tell you what we're learning today. And that was really exciting to watch the kids grow and their awareness of what are you learning today.
And be comfortable with people coming in and asking them questions.
And then I was thinking a little bit about this culture also, about the difference between a climate and a culture of a building, and how it just all takes some time, and the climate it's kind of your day-to-day, what's happening from this day to this day versus your culture with like what routines are you going to have, how are you celebrating people, and,
Right.
and
Right. A little
shifting
deeper.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
from within.
Yeah. So, what is it? And we've got a little bit of what does it look like. We got learning walks, and I actually have on my list learning walks, and I have peer observations, non-evaluative, and even team meetings are good places to learn from other people. I would say that if you're doing peer observations and learning walks, and you're not going with them, you do need to have some sort of a focus for people to look for, and that's exactly what you did. So that way it's not just, oh, I went and watched this person and I saw some really neat anchor charts,
Right.
That's great, but we want you to get more than that out of it, right?
And I did go on the walk to learn, so that was powerful.
So it takes a lot of trust.
It does.
And how do you build that kind of trust between staff members so that they're okay with someone coming in and potentially not thinking they're doing very good?
Right.
They're not doing a good job, and so you've got to be able to build trust with staff members to get that to work. So I have in my career, I have taken people to visit other buildings and stuff, and I've always found that to be very positive for staff, and it's positive for the people who they get to see too, because they get some feedback. All right, how can I do it? If I'm a principal or I'm a leader of some sort, how can I get people to improve from within? Any thoughts?
Well,
I hope.
I think one of the things we talk a lot about is a shift from my students, my class, mine, and this is ours.
Right.
And so our students, our community, and our school, and then also our school within our large district. So our students, there's a lot of movement sometimes between buildings. So our student today might not be our student, but they're still ours. So we do that by, our wish wells and keeping students, in our thoughts, and staff members in our thoughts, even if they're not here. Trust just takes some time. This is my 4th year, and I think it takes a little momentum to get to really build trust. I think staff members want to know, are you really going to stay? How long are you going to be here? Can we wait you out?
Right.
And when they realize you're here to stay, then it's like, okay, we can get on or get off.
Yeah. I think you have to be
and I have to learn that too.
You have to be genuine with people and just be real.
Right.
Hey, this is what you see is what you get. So I have on my notes, how can you empower teachers to be the solution? That's just a question. How can you be an example? Is this something you can do as a leader? So how can you do it? I have always tried to give teachers autonomy and mastery and purpose. Those are my 3 things. So autonomy, teachers have some free will when it comes to teaching. There is a science to it, so you're going to have to do some of the things, right? But there's also an artistry to it, kind of like we talked before. And so that's where you kind of put your fingerprint on things. And then mastery, teachers need to be able to be strong in what they're doing. And so help them master their craft and become the best teacher they can be. And then purpose. Everyone needs a purpose. What's your why? And as a leader, I feel like we are the ones who help provide that purpose to get people moving in the same direction as opposed to all different directions. So, anything to add?
No, I think that's really solid. I think when you're thinking about mastery and providing really targeted feedback, and again, kind of going back to Rutherford, putting a name to that great thing that they did, so that you keep doing that great thing and capitalize on people's strengths and build from their strengths.
So just one more time. Show me the dime and the finger.
Oh yeah. All right. Here we go. Oops.
It's on.
We're camera shy.
Camera shy.
Ah. See guys, look at it.
For real. How many of you can do that, right? So Hey, it's a pleasure having you on here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
And it would be a pleasure if I could have some other people. You know, I am hit or miss on announcements because I just don't have the number of volunteers, victims who want to be on camera with me. I don't know, maybe it's my good looks. They're afraid.
Intimidating.
Yeah, it's intimidating. So if you would like to be on the announcements, let me know. I've been doing a little recruiting, so maybe I'll have another one out pretty soon. So at the end, I always try to launch with the same thing. You have value, you have impact, and what you're doing matters.